Welcome to our fifth edition.
Yes.
I'm Italian. I can't count. I only have so many fingers.
What? How many?
Talk to me at five.
How many have you done?
This is the fifth one?
I believe it is.
Yeah. They'll kind of blur together.
We're gonna have to talk to our engineer, Herb. Herb, how many? Five?
Five.
Yeah, I
This
think
is
five.
Bunch of fucking
Yeah.
stoners. You can't even think of
They
five.
stack up fast.
How the
It
fuck
was
we
like
gonna
no
figure out
time
when we
at
get to
all.
100, huh?
At WEMF, we had like 100. And it was just a year of doing it or whatever. 2 years of doing it. 2
Well,
weeks in
if
a
we
year.
keep doing it once a week, that's
Yeah.
52, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
They
So that would
stack
be
up.
2
They get,
years, yeah.
yeah. I feel like the first one was kind of clunky.
Yeah.
That always is,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Actually, our first one was really good. Second was kind of clunky. Third one,
That
Tommy
also had-
wouldn't shut the fuck up, even though I brought a ball gag.
Who?
Fourth one, Tommy.
Oh.
Tommy
The
O'Dean.
fourth
Tommy
one?
likes to talk. Tommy, he'll ask me questions.
And then
He's
answer
like,
for you.
he's like, I ask you questions. Like, you don't fucking shut up to listen to my answers.
So when I stop talking and I look around the room, nobody says anything.
Oh, bullshit. I'm always trying to talk, and it's like trying to talk about.
Oh no, get this, you guys. Where's D? If you're watching, you listen up. D got up on stage. We were doing the show, the Cambridge Comedy Underground. It was the end of the show. Okay, the last act has already gone up. Big D and I go up on the stage and do our hey, and that's it. And he breaks in and does a fucking bit. Like starts telling, and
How
then
long
I'm
was
just
it?
standing there, like it's like 2-minute bit. He starts doing.
Did it kill?
It was
What's
I
the,
don't
what's
remember.
the
I
name
was-
of the show?
Cambridge Comedy Underground, CCTV.
Oh, I don't know, because I've never been invited.
Oh,
I was
I knew that was
told-
coming.
Was the bit?
I
Hold on,
know
I
that
want to know
was-
about the bit.
let's go into this. I was told that I wasn't funny enough to be on that.
Who told you that?
Big D said you said that.
He's so full of
Yeah,
shit. He did
said
not say that.
I was supposed to be on one of the first episodes. He goes, I put your name out there, and
Are you
and he said that I'm
you're
not
full of
funny
shit,
enough.
and you know I am.
Because it hurt. It hurt because
I
we're
have
like
had people.
we're like the two fucking oldest people
Hey,
in comedy here in
listen.
Boston, right?
I love. You got to understand. Well, no, Dave
You gotta
Stern's
be
got to speak,
comparable.
but we're up there.
Yeah, but I don't see Dave, so I've never seen Dave out in open mic.
Yeah,
So
I've seen it in
this-
a long time.
So
Yeah.
let me tell you right now. You have got to have seen people on the show not as funny as you. So that
Oh,
right
I
there.
see people posting all the time. Tell you the truth, I haven't seen the show because
Oh,
the
okay.
girl was hurt and she's Italian. And
Well, don't be. I'll book you in February. Here's the thing with that show. Here's what happened with that show. I don't know. I'm being interviewed, right?
Yeah, Casey
Okay.
McNeil.
All right.
everybody.
Casey
Oh,
McNeil.
yeah.
That's me. Hey.
Yeah.
Okay.
welcome.
That show, when we first did
What
that,
show?
the show, the
CCTV?
Cambridge Comedy
Say it
Underground,
again,
CCTV, which is viewed. Actually, we're doing pretty good now. We had 60 people in the studio last show. 500 people watched the live stream, and my
Nice.
father-in-law saw it from the nursing of the hospital he's in. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, it just came on. I'm like, it does that? He goes, yeah. So it's
Wow.
seen all over Cambridge, not Channel 96. And they repeat them a lot. So the way it came about is when we first started doing it, we did like 2 episodes, and we are not content restricted. So we allow the comics to do what they will, including D, who hosts with me. And D, I don't know, some board member from the station. Sorry, turn that off. Some board member from the station tuned in for like 7 seconds or something like
And
that.
Big D was
Saw
on.
Big D had to be doing some kind of really super blue thing. I mean, the word pussy comes out of his mouth at least in the first 35 seconds he's on
Bitches.
stage,
He
probably.
calls
Yeah.
women bitches. And that.
but
He could do it though.
but yeah, whatever. He's charming.
Tommy's
So-
much worse.
Yeah. So we get canceled, right? Because it's our producer goes, the station canceled us. Like, oh shit. So we told them we want to be free speech, and they support free speech and all that, but apparently not this free of speech. So what ended up happening is Peter Levine took over, and I took over as producers So we produce the show, we shoot it at the station, but it's not their show. They show it, they air it, but they don't produce it.
But it's
How
your
many
show.
people
It's
are
my
you
show.
putting up?
That's the way it should
That's
be.
pretty cool.
That's actually the
so-
way it should be. So
Yeah, it works out all right.
How
now.
many people are on an episode?
Well, we put up. Usually, we book 8 and have 2 drop-in spots.
Right.
And so, usually 5, depending on what people want. Now, the reason why we did the show in the first place was because, well, they offered it to me. But
Nice.
but the reason we did the show in the first place is because I wanted an opportunity to let comics get nice 3-camera shots of their sets so that they can do sets for submissions and have something TV.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks good.
I like
Also-
submission.
Very well.
I'm in
It
the
looks
submission position
Nice.
often.
Okay, good. So also, I have interns from Emerson's production department students and their comedy art students who also work with us, and so they come in, work cameras, and do some stuff like that. So I'm trying to like support every aspect of this as I can. I also want to take sketches and like some writing stuff in that this year, and produce some sketch stuff.
Yeah,
So me and
incorporating
Tommy are
that
going to
with
do a
stand-up.
sketch. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a bunch of sketch stuff that I want to do.
We're going to do one.
County
I'm going to
Santa
be an
videos.
arms dealer.
yeah. It should be perfect.
Oh,
I'm assuming.
I have to promote
Keep him in
somebody
a
else.
piano.
I said I'm not going to smoke any more weed on our podcast because I am a grandparent and
Oh,
shut
shut up.
one of my grandkids will see this one day.
Oh,
So,
stop.
Excuse me.
I'm
Well,
just going to stop right now.
the first one I saw you were swilling whiskey off the 5th. So
Look,
I consider
Tommy
you.
made me buy that.
A full whip.
Tommy made me buy
So
that.
I gotta break
Oh,
down
nice.
here for a second
Bullwhip,
and tell
did I?
you about characters. I went and had my worst set in a year in Beverly on Monday. But
That's
while
part
I
of the
was
game,
there,
man. That's what you do.
yeah. So
We'll have a good one. You got to get humbled to know exactly what.
here's the deal. The comic that was before me was funny, but he was also a little tense. Brings a little tension in the room. And then when I got up there, I had a specific 5 minutes that I wrote to do. That I'm adding 2 minutes new to something else.
Right.
So I had it all planned out. I want to write this. About a minute and 15 seconds in, I know it's not working at all. Now I've got a choice. I either abandon what I came here to do and just go for
Right.
recovery and get the laughs. But I'm like, I drove out there to do the bit. So I went with the bit and it sucked.
Yeah.
And so they didn't have any of it. But
Deflection, I think, is.
what I wanted to say was while I was there, Jay DeMule and Will Pottorff did the craziest character. They do a lot of characters when they host these shows. I don't know if you've seen them do
Cool.
characters together. Jay DeMule, okay,
uh,
and Will Pottorff. They're like North Shore comics. Good
I know who
comics.
they are. I know who they are. But I
So,
don't know
They do characters a lot, and this character they did where they were doing characters where they were a parody of reality TV ghost hunting shows. Only they were called the Ghost Touchers, which was just the most awesome. So the backstory is when I was young, I was touched by a ghost. Now we go out and touch them back, and it was one of the funniest bits I've
I-
seen ever. Those guys, Ghost Touchers.
I think Jay's one of the funniest. I love them.
Them is
Producing
funny.
sketch
They're
stuff
very
isn't as
funny.
hard as you think. If you just like Stanley Kubrick it, like shoot it well, frame it well. How's
Well, you have some
the
experience
editing?
with that.
Like how long? I find with sketch, like video editing, producing those things, it is so much more controlled than stand up.
Yeah, of course.
Stand up, you're on a tightrope. You could be murdering. It's like, oh, he's in
So
control. But
that-
at any
that gets
moment,
me
I
to-
can go. Whoop.
That gets me to the point. He said he had a set. I mean, how many times you go into a mic where you have a set?
I have
Like,
a big chunk of what I'm
You have
doing.
an idea
I
what
have
you're
a
gonna
big,
do,
but there's always a.
So that's one of my
Try
biggest
something
things
new
with
up front
I
or a
love these
riff.
fucking young millennials. They have their books, they have their notebooks, they write everything down. I scribble when I write.
Yeah.
So I try to do it in my phone. So what I end up doing is I just write what made me laugh. And I hope I remember the rest.
Yeah.
So I read that later and I'm like,
Well,
What do
I
you
think
mean,
if you guys
69
I
haven't
like
year
writing
old?
by hand better. To be
Yeah.
honest.
if you guys
I like
haven't
writing
seen
by
this,
hand.
I'm lazy. Like I would rather dictate, and then edit later. But I don't know if you guys read or have read Gary Goldman's writing tips.
No.
The stuff is brilliant.
I've seen it, but
You'll earn it if you
it's-
follow his
yeah,
tips.
But you have to read that shit, and then you have to write. I mean, that's just like
I know.
A
Well,
lot
that's the
of
thing.
fucking
It'll
work.
make you work. It'll
Yeah.
make you work or resent yourself for not working. But we sort of love living on the resentment.
So my thing is like I have a joke in my head, and I repeat it to myself, and I don't remember when I get on stage that it wasn't worth fucking talking about.
I know. Well, the complication for me, and this
Yeah.
starts. You got to remember too.
You got to record everything. I think. At
I
least the sound recording, so you know.
Well,
what
Tommy
you-
says
you
that,
know
and then
what
I
you're doing.
record, and all I got from recording. That's the first thing that Tommy ever said to me was like one of his first tips. He goes, "Oh, you're very funny. You got to record everything." So I recorded. I'm like, "Fuck, I got varicose veins. What the fuck? I got a double chin. I'm not like
Sound recording.
I'm not
Sound
critiquing my material.
Yeah,
I'm critiquing me.
so
Just
look,
make a
right.
sound recording. Just
I
make a
can't
sound
wear that on
recording of
stage
it for
again.
you to listen to. I mean, it helps me, and I noticed like I've been doing better because I have this big chunk in the middle of a thing, and then something I'll usually just go up and riff right off the bat and say something funny about the room and what's going on, and when they're laughing, then I go into a bit. Like
Yeah.
I think it looks rushed to go up and go. So you ever ride the train? Or like.
Yeah, it can. But here's the one thing. Here's one thing I've noticed in Boston comedy, which is really lazy, in my opinion. It's just my opinion. I'll get at the risk of being shot from the front and the back. Every comic gets up and goes, "How y'all doing tonight?" Which is like it's such a fucking rookie move.
Yeah, I've actually said that on my mic.
Oh.
The only person that should be saying that is the host. The host is
Yeah, right.
when they start off the show. Yeah,
I'll say like,
Just
hey
say, "How
guys,
you doing?"
look around.
Because for one thing, it's a way to get a cheap laugh. It's a way to like get people to clap or cheer before you've actually earned any. You haven't earned a fucking cheer from them yet. Just go, "Hey, you all having a good time? Woo!
Yeah,
Okay."
yeah,
All of that, like that's sort of pseudo for you. It's really not for you.
So what I hate this one. People go, let me tell you a little bit about myself.
Well, if it works,
It's so-
I get it.
Yeah,
But
that's the thing. But it's so
if you've noticed
formulaic.
lately, my favorite is I've been doing.
It's like an
So,
engine.
how many people have played Russian roulette? If they don't answer, I'm like, if you hear one person, you're like, the only winner in the group.
Yeah, right.
The losers didn't make it tonight. So it starts off a whole.
I don't riff that much because I'm broken from starting 30 years ago. When I started, for one thing, where I started, there was one room in town, and in that one room, there was where I was. It was in Utah. Okay, so so this is really like there's only one AAA club in town. They have one night that they let stand-up guys do open mic. It was the first night that the headline. There was like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday show club where a headliner would come in Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and they would have a mic on Thursday where they would let 5 guys go. 25 guys could show up and write that name. 5 guys were going to get picked, and it wasn't first 5 or whatever. And the club owner chose. He wanted to chose.
Yeah.
You got whatever,
Yeah,
no more than
the same
5.
5 guys normally.
And he chose always the order because he wanted to control everything about the success of the show. And he had new people go up he never had before, whatever. But you had to make every second count. But I started, opening and middling and stuff pretty fast after that. And the benefit to me then was that in that room, since there was only 5 of us in town that were any good, we got to open for everybody. So we opened for Margaret Cho and Judy Tenuta and a lot of people I learned.
What part
a lot
of
stuff
Utah
from.
was it?
Provo is where I was. Provo and Salt Lake, both the same.
I've been to Salt Lake.
Any place around Utah.
Is it me or does Salt Lake City really fucking stink?
Oh, it stinks, yeah. And but here's the thing.
I found it to be the most.
There's like a
party down
scent in
people.
the air.
You mean it smells?
fucking
Okay, I don't know,
smells.
maybe. Here's the thing, though. I will
Salt
tell you
Lake? I
that,
don't know.
that you have to learn to make somebody laugh that's sober. So that's one of the challenges that you have in Mormonia.
Well, that's not hard
But
in Utah.
but the good news is, you don't get heckled. I mean, my impression of a Mormon heckler is like, "Excuse me, you are somewhat less than we had anticipated." So it's like they're not really rough on you. Everybody looks like they came out of a Sears catalog,
Yeah.
But
I found them to be like when I went through there in like '98 touring with my band. We have a live band. And they were the most party down people. They gave us cocaine, women.
They will party down.
The guy who the promoter.
Yep. There's not only
took
snow
us- he
on the
just
top of
sent
the
us
hill.
Oh,
to
did
the
you guys play the
restaurant.
Zephyr Club? Did you play?
We
You had to play
played
the Zephyr.
the Holy
probably.
Cow.
Oh, holy cow! Okay.
Yeah, it was cool.
Because Zephyr is the place where I
At
open for a
9
lot
o'clock
of
on the
comics.
dot, it filled up with like Hitler's dream children, just fucking all blonde hair, blue eye, and they fucking partied like crazy.
Yeah, they party down. People don't sort of understand that about that.
And I just remember they're giving us beers, they're big beers. I'm like, these beers are huge.
Oh, look, it's
free two
it's
beers.
2020
Free
and
two beer.
2020.
Oh.
Yeah.
Make a wish.
So I'm on military
Military
time.
time.
2020.
2020 and 2020.
Should they not change 2020 the TV series?
Yeah.
Change it how?
I don't know. It's 3 fucking segments of 20. Shouldn't it be 2020? 60.
2020.
You know?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's
You know, or get Barbara Walters on there at 2040. Yeah, my vision's lost a little. I need glasses now.
Yeah.
So-
420s.
You know what I was saying? One thing I was thinking about before is you're talking about riffing and axing that, and early on, I had 30 minutes in my first probably 6 months, and it wasn't that great, but it was good. It was so I was featuring, you know, but it had a lot of callbacks, so it had a very specific kind of order to the way that I had to do the set, which wasn't that great in my early days, you know, and I had to learn a lot from that. What I try to do now is if I'm micing or something, I like to make sure that if I like to open with something, and if I can close with a callback to my opener, it's an old school
Yeah,
thing.
well,
I
that's
like to do
that's
it.
Seinfeld. That's what he taught us, right?
So yeah,
You know, bring it back around.
so I usually will try to start with something strong, or at least something I know I can get a laugh with in the first 15 to 30 seconds. If I do that, and I open solid and I close solid, I find that you can play around a lot in the middle. They'll forgive a lot of
Like when I'll open and the first few things I say, the first jokes I crack, I'll like bounce off the comic before me. You know what I mean? It'll be my friend or like
Yeah.
Some
the girl
comics
talked
look
about
around just
catching
like that.
dick at Mitzi's room the other night. So I went up that. I threw my house keys to a girl. It worked. I just came up with it. That was like bang, 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 done. And then had him laughing, then went into my fucking.
Yeah. So it's still the same
Shit.
idea as a laugh in the first 15 to 30 seconds.
Right. You know what?
But
It
you're
could be
better-
tough if you
When
hit
I
him with
first,
a real
when I first
relatable
started
good
out,
one.
I used the N word in one of my jokes, and Tommy was like, "Oh my god!" It's like I did a thing, and so
Good
he's
joke,
like,
though.
We brought it up last week. Did you hear it that I changed the joke though? I did it this week.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I said ninja, and it worked.
Oh,
You know,
Who is
like
it? It's
yeah.
that's funny. I'm glad you
who
went
is
with
it,
Ninja.
Terrence?
I did, yeah.
that said neighbor. Somebody else does neighbor.
Yeah.
Who is this?
Well, I was going to say Nicaragua, but he said that's too close. That's a little too close. Nicaragua, Nigeria, too
I
close.
don't know.
He said ninja works. So,
Yeah, she blames that one on me.
well, it wasn't me. No, it was the girl that said it.
Yeah.
I had nothing to do. It was about This is a joke about a girl that's on the train, because we all know I'm the T on the T. So, I don't have to be explicit, right?
Right.
And there was a girl on the train, and she's like, "Fuck you, ninja." No, wait, no, fuck you, ninja. No, ninja, fuck you. Fuck you, ninja. Fuck you, ninja. Okay, I love you, Mom. I was like, come on, that's fucking
That is
hilarious.
funny.
know
I
it-
had to write nothing. That's what the girl.
That's-
So,
That's funny.
but I
I
said
joked
what
with
she
Cal,
actually
though,
said,
when
and
you're
all of a
saying-
sudden the whole room went. It's like you can hear all of them sucking the air out of the room.
I've been doing
I
this.
get that it's hyperbole.
That's pretty
That's what it is. He's speaking in another voice,
Yeah.
but it's still that word through a
So
microphone.
we have it in 4 languages,
Yeah.
right? It's the same fucking thing, but it's in Middle East.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
Trigger words are hard. Trigger word, like a yell. Yeah.
What words?
Trigger words. You know what I mean? Words.
Okay,
Just
trigger
danger
words.
words.
My
danger
favorite.
words.
Are we gonna go on? We
Just
need to go to
still
Ontane
drop.
tonight. All right, we have to say.
Oh, absolutely.
Um,
It's the last one.
last one. So one of the
Got 'em,
best
Mike.
things was I was on my favorite Ontane that I've there's so many, but this is early on, and Tommy was up there, and he said the word retarded,
Mm.
but the way Tommy says it, retarded. He doesn't say the ah. He misses it. I don't know how you do that.
So that
He
makes it
says
more
it-
charming, right? Is that what
Yeah.
you're saying?
Yeah.
He says it like an old town.
Yeah. So and the girl, all of a sudden, this girl comes in with this old geriatrics old guy, and there's only 2 seats left. They sit right beside me, and she goes, "Retarded. That's not funny. I got, you know, and she had family members that were apparently disturbed, fucking retarded. The guy she came in with, he kind of looked retarded. So she's like talking the whole time, and then right after him, Sean Sorrow gets up. Sean Sorrow's doing his thing, and she goes, "Why are they laughing? He's not funny." I'm like, if you would shut the fuck up for a minute, maybe you would find him funny. And she gave me the hand, which
I thought Mickey was gonna fucking strangle him.
I thought the hand retired when her boyfriend did back in the 70s or 80s, like, whatever the
Mickey's
fuck
gonna
it was.
twist this.
Was I there that night?
I don't know. So she turned around.
I think I remember.
She said she turned to the bartender and she goes, "I don't believe you serve dudes with tits in this place."
Oh yeah.
And he turned around and he came right around the bar. He goes, "You're the fuck out." And all the comedians in the back are going, "No, no, 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 hey, hey, hey." And as it's dragging her out, she goes, "I don't believe this 40-year-old wanted to fight me." I'm like, 40-year-old? I wanted to kiss her right on the mouth. I love you, 40-year-old. Thank you, honey. Yes, that's her. I love you. 40-year-old. That's right. That's me.
That's the punchline. She thought she could yell at you and be insulting and shit on you. But at the end,
40-year-old.
she complimented you.
Her.
Well, I'm concerned about now. I watch a lot of shows on TV about aliens.
Me too.
And, I love the alien show, right?
Okay. There's a lot of them.
All right, so you're up on aliens, right? So here's the thing. So what? All right, me too. Me too. Okay, cool. So we could have a whole show just on that. But I will say, so here's my thing. I've been telling some jokes about that stuff lately because I don't want to get, I wonder if they have a sense of humor because I don't want to have to travel 300, light years without any laughs. It's like a Tuesday night at Comedy Studio.
All you need for laughs is, Area 51. They planned to storm Area 51 this year, right? Last year, 2019.
And then they didn't even try. Like
the guy that fucking planned it didn't even show up. Come on.
They weren't serious. But they did have people that. No, the guy, but he was discouraged.
200,000 were supposed to, and 39 showed up. Come on.
Nothing bad happened, so I guess.
It's pretty fun.
But here's the thing, though. Aliens are supposedly living among us already, right? And then they say about abductions that the Greys always tell the people that get abducted, they're like, "Oh, someday you'll all understand, the truth will be known, it'll all make sense." So, they talk about either integration or whatever. Now, you think you have race relation problems now.
I know.
Like who's going to be able to use the G word?
That's going to be real
you can't
say,
"Hey, McGray, how's it going?"
It's going to be speciesism.
Well,
they prefer to be reticulans, You can't say lizard people because they prefer,
Which ones do you think?
Reptilian overlord.
All right. So when I was a kid, I was called a guinea, and there were guinea pigs in the school. I let all the guinea pigs go when I was in second grade. I went through the classrooms. I don't know why we had guinea pigs,
did any guinea pigs get away?
I let a good.
Did any actually get away? Did they find
in the Pierce school? And they asked me, "Why'd you let them go?" I'm like, "They're guinea pigs. I'm a guinea wop wop." Because we were related.
Okay, best or most notorious school farce action you guys did.
School farce.
Oh my god!
Letting a greased pig loose in the school, something like that. Cool. We did that.
Like that.
We put a Volkswagen on the roof of the school.
This was a mystery too. It was the mystery of who's the fucking asshole that's going upstairs into the bathroom in the dead of winter and pissing on the radiator. They would evacuate the whole, it was a small school. They would fucking evacuate it. Everyone would just go downstairs. And people were mad, and I was too. I was like, damn, who was doing that? What a scumbag. And I was the quietest kid in school.
Mine was neighborhood, and it wasn't planned. So when I was a kid, I had osteomyelitis. I was in the hospital for 6 months. They replaced bone marrow infection.
Ooh.
So they replaced. I had spinal taps, six of them.
Those suck, right?
I saw those long fucking needles going through my thing. But
what does that feel?
I've had those.
How much pain?
So back in, how you do church in the Catholic Church, they go, we want to make a prayer too, and you're on one list. I got on the wrong list. I got on the second list of those who passed away.
Oh.
So
just because they're the obituary list. Yeah.
So I did. I got on the obituary list at my church, and I grew up on the street of my church.
Wait. It was in the obituary that you croaked.
No, it
No.
was in the church.
In the
which
church,
was
they
even
have a
bigger
list,
than
pray
the
for these
obituary.
people
Nobody
who
read
are
the
alive.
paper.
Oh, pray for these people who are dead.
Yeah,
She
pray
got
for
on the
these.
dead person.
So yeah. So I got on the second list, and
That's cool.
so my sisters didn't understand. Everybody was being really nice to them.
Yeah.
You know, my mom.
Someone just
food
started
was
a
being
rumor.
dropped at the door and
They used to
stuff.
die every week.
But then I showed up like a couple months later, walking down the street in crutches. Like women were holding,
That's funny.
I want to try to fake my death at least once. I don't care if I get caught. So when I do die, there will be always people that
So you know
hang
exactly
on to
what to
maybe
do.
he really did fake his death. You know what I mean?
Hey, they think
I want to
they got
start
that.
my own.
They got that DB Cooper. They figured out who that is.
I know.
And that
Good
he did live through that.
for him.
Yeah, and you know who else lived through was the guys that
just
Did he really?
So
Really?
brave.
Yeah, he lived. Yeah.
Well, I know he
Oh, yeah.
lived.
Okay. Well, they didn't think so. They said, "Oh, we found the money. We this
Oh,
and
no,
that,"
bullshit.
You know, so,
Yeah.
He probably ditched some money. You know what I mean?
Actually,
He
there
was
was a whole thing about that. The family who supposedly found the money on the beach or whatever, that it was some kind of plant. It was
Oh,
some kind of
wow.
setup or something like that. I don't know.
Man.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I just remember that they found the guy, and the guys also lived to escape from Alcatraz too.
I heard that recently too.
Well,
I heard that too.
that was another one.
That was just a swim. When you look at it, it's just a swim.
Well, it's
It
because
was at a raft.
It's,
Oh,
yeah,
I will
it was,
tell you
but it was the
something.
temperature of the
Swimmer.
water at that time of the year was the big one. That it
Let me get this. I know a guy. Now I did a lot
You
of.
think it would really kill him though? Hold on. Do you think it would really kill him though? That swimming that far?
no, because I've
If they're saying they got away,
I
right?
have
But they
swam
thought that it
2
might
miles in
kill
the
them.
ocean.
Yeah.
2 miles.
Ugh.
That's,
Oh, wow.
But I will say this.
Yeah.
I thought, they were all impossible. Actually, I know a guy who's a public speaker. I did a lot of public speaking, so I met a lot of these speaker guys. One of them's name is Jay Platt, and this guy is like freaking Iron Man. He got discharged from the army with cancer. He had cancer. He lost an eye. He had operations on his back. He had brain tumors, and he battled with cancer for years. And he decided, like he said when he was getting discharged, the doctor leaned over and like shouted at him, like, "All right, Gunny, you got to take it easy, Gunny," like he was some old man. He said, "Fuck this, I'm gonna do what I want to do." So he ended up doing all these challenges for himself. One of which is this guy swam from Alcatraz to shore, okay, blindfolded and shackled.
Oh shit.
Yes, and this is his YouTube video of it as well. He's gonna cross the English Channel like that, blindfolded and shackled, man.
So
That's the homing pigeon in you.
On my old show, the S&M comedy show,
Yeah.
I actually did a whole set in handcuffs.
Really?
For an Italian, that's almost the same thing.
I can imagine, right?
My poor hands, they were going in all directions.
That's funny.
Oh, man, but swimming 2 miles, that's fucking scary. Like, if any
No,
time
no.
you just, like, cramp up and it's like,
I know.
you're just gonna drown.
No.
You
You
just
must
gonna
have
drown.
some
when you-
Irish.
When
I
you were
tell
a
you,
kid, do you ever swim in a pool? I used to do laps all the time. When I used to box, I used to my day off of doing exercise, fighting was on swimming.
Yeah.
And I would do like 15, 20 laps of an Olympic pool. It's 100 yards.
Yeah.
When I got my lifeguard license, you had to swim a half mile underwater with the fucking brick.
Wow.
That was easy though. It really
To
wasn't
be
hard.
a sailor
But I
in a ship. So,
grew
like,
up in the water. I was always
So you were never afraid of that? I get like black
No.
water in the ocean horrifies me. The
shouldn't, man.
thought of
You're-
being on a
No,
raft and
where's
my,
your
my
Irish-
parents threw me in
where's
the
your
ocean
Irish
when I was like
boat?
6
Oh,
months
fuck
old.
that.
They said, if you could swim, you can live. And
I
I
think
can
that
swim, but
I think that Boston, Irish American or Irish immigrants
I
are
have
some
no
of the
Irish
baddest.
in me.
I know that. That's why I'm making another column. I'm putting in another column of badass here. I was doing Uber. I was driving an Uber, and this guy, he said the Uber, this like Seamus, so fucking, he's got the accent, he's got it all right. One of my brethren from Ireland, and And he had just gotten, I just picked him up from having done one of these like Ironman kind of contests where you had to do 20K on a bike and then run 20K, swim 20K, and some kind of crazy shit like that, right? So he just hears about the thing at the last minute, borrows somebody's regular old junkyard bike,
yeah.
Right.
which
Yeah.
and instead of doing 20, he didn't know he was done. He did 40. He did 40 on the bike and then did the 20 running and then did the, and then he gets to go like, oh, that was, like it was a fucking slow
Oh,
Monday
it's
for him
fun.
or
Yeah.
something. Yeah, right. Like, holy
What do we
God.
do for exercise?
I think of like if I was running or riding a bike that far and trying to race along doing it, at some point real quickly, I'd get that burning feeling in my chest. You know, to get
So
like that.
okay, so riding a bike is
It
like
tastes like paper
anything.
towels.
When you're in a car, you want to beat the person in front of you. When you're walking,
Yeah.
I've always
I
had
want
that
to trip the
mentality.
person in
So
front of
I
me.
used to, I got into bike riding, and that would be my thing. I would have to catch the person I saw in front of me, even though they probably left wherever they were way before I did. I had to catch them, and then I see
I
the
think
next
there's something
person.
there's something
see the next
instinctive in
one.
people about
Yeah,
that.
it's like I always have
Racing
to.
about.
Yeah.
Well, Joe, there's people. They always have to be fat. Like
Yeah.
you know, the guy next to me in the car, right in the lane.
Yeah,
He's in the lane
yeah.
next to me.
Yeah, yes.
I'm up here, right?
Yeah.
All he has to do is slow, just tap his brakes a little, and I'll pull right in.
Yeah.
As soon as he sees my signal, he goes, "Oh
Yeah.
no!"
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
he's gonna lose a whole ton of time.
That's my
to let
favorite
me
thing
in
about being in the fast lane. No matter how fast you're going, if somebody wants to go faster, and there's always somebody in front of you that wants to go slower.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Imagine what it'd be like to be old and scared, and your brains ain't as good anymore. So you gotta go like 40 on the highway.
Fuck
you
that
know,
though.
like,
Those guys, they
yeah.
should have signs next to the highway like they have at the amusement park. You know, like you should be this tall. You know, before you can
Right,
get
right,
on.
right.
Is that
Oh,
because you
I've
know
just
when
seen some
when you know when
purple
the person,
knuckles hanging.
yeah, all you can
fucking-
see is that little
How
lump
about,
where their
how about
hands
signs
get
that people
hands
actually
on the
read
Blue
when it
heads.
says fucking stop?
Yeah.
Blue heads.
I
It's called blue heads.
sit where I catch the bus every day, and there's red lights,
What?
green lights, traffic lights, and it's a main street. It's High Park Ave,
Well,
and people like go right out. Like,
in the
ah,
cars
oh
they
no, that's
drive,
not.
the fucking cars they drive. It's like an '84 Lincoln with a bus welded onto the back of it or something. You know, and I think it's like their status equivalent of the monster truck. You know.
Right, right.
You see the ad for that, like Sunday,
Yeah,
Senior
yeah.
Nightmare Productions
Yes,
presents
Western Syndrome.
the all-new senior citizen sedan-orama.
Have you ever
C300.
gone and seen monster trucks like in an arena?
No, I went to
It's
WrestleMania. I don't need to see the
horrifying.
same people.
When they first come roaring out, I was not prepared for how fucking loud.
Yeah,
it
it's
is.
really loud and thundering.
I'm looking at the little
vibrates
kids
everything.
with like the monster truck tire headphones, and I'm like, these little pussies, these
No.
little wimps.
When I was a
Actually,
And they
kid,
came out, wah wah.
when
I
I was
was
a
like,
kid, my brother used to take me to drag races.
Shakes you in here.
M31 drag strip. I saw.
We'll see, that's when
Granddaddy
his drag
Darling and all that
strips
shit.
are it, because if the ground's wet, they'll bring out the rocket car to dry the fucking ground,
Right.
and it's things
Those things
like.
will vibrate your
Sad.
balls, man. It's like it's like really.
So when I
really
was in the,
heavy.
that was like when C10s fired up in the morning.
Oh.
C10s are the ones that they
What are those?
bring the tanks and shit like that on, and they drop them out of the mid sky, and there's like you can put 100 troops in there.
Right.
They're fucking huge,
Right.
and the ground just rumbles. That's all you can feel is like rumble, rumble, rumble.
Right.
It's like that's when a rocket car, one of those, the same thing. Being on the ground, anything like that, you
Yeah.
can't help it. That vibration, just,
Yeah.
it vibrates
It's a-
the blood.
and it's a
It gets you
frequency,
going.
and
You're
you-
like, you
it's
just want to
physical.
go. Yeah.
Yeah. I love the sound of a dirt bike, like a
So
two-stroke.
my cousin brought me to a wrestling match. I
what kind? Like
like WrestleMania
They
type
not
thing.
like
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
there's Mexican
Yeah, yeah.
wrestling.
No,
there's
no,
all
there's
kinds-
like
one of those dudes just died.
they had
by the
Hulk
way.
Hogan or whatever in there, whatever. This is
Which
how
one?
old I am.
El Parca.
Hulk Hogan was still wrestling.
Yeah.
So we go, and I'm like, I was a wrestler, I was a fighter, I was a boxer myself. I'm like, I'm not gonna really watch this. And we're like, wherever we are, there's an 80-year-old lady beside me. By the end of the match, she was standing on her stool, going, Hogan, Hogan.
Yeah.
And I was right beside her, Hogan, Hogan. I didn't even know who fucking I knew.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I only went to it once when I was a little kid.
You can't help but get excited.
I saw Sergeant Slaughter.
It's called
Sergeant
Mob
Slaughter.
Madness, you know? It's like when we won the series in 2004. There was that mob that was sweet. All of a sudden people started destroying stuff. They weren't thinking they were going to destroy stuff. They're like, somebody else is doing it. We're going to do it.
Oh, what? Remember when the girl got shot in the eyeball with the beat?
Yeah, that's because that's why they shot her in the eyeball, because people were destroying shit downtown. They were just ripping shit
just
apart.
Let one fly, and just
She
the worst
climbed-
place it could hit you.
First of all,
eyeball.
I want to know how she got up there. It had to be a good
brain.
ladder. I mean, I know Fenway Park. That's a good height to get up where she was at.
Oh, she was up high?
Yeah, she was on one of the girders that went up onto the roof there.
And they just shot up
and they
at
just picked her right
hit
up
one
in
in the
there.
hip.
Yeah,
Right in the eyeball.
Yeah, got her right in the eyeball. She went down, cracked her skull. Yeah.
So you
How do you
saw,
think he felt?
I want to go back. You saw Hulk Hogan wrestle live?
Yeah.
Fun. I met him once.
Really? Wait.
Yeah, and I learned an interesting history. My wife and I
Was
was
this
out
before
in
or
California.
after he got in trouble for throwing N-bombs around like they were?
No, this is why. It's a
Niggas
long time.
buzz.
It had to be like 2005, maybe 2006.
I'm thinking earlier than that. When
I was
saw
in
him.
California. And I was doing some shows, some work out there, and my wife and I went to the Tonight Show as guests, and he was on the show. I mean, we weren't guests on the show. We were guests of.
Right.
Yeah, so we got to be there, and he was on the show, and Hulk and Jay Leno. I think it was Leno. Was it Leno? I think it was Leno. Yeah, Leno brought up the
2005
fact.
was Leno, yeah.
Leno brought up the fact that Hulk Hogan was turned down for the George Foreman grill. Did you know that? It was going to be the Hulk Hogan grill.
Oh, what a dumb.
And get this, and he said, and first of all, George Foreman made a. Now I want to emphasize, Foreman made a fucking fortune.
Fortune off that.
Now this is how it worked.
Yeah.
They called up the agent of George Foreman and Hulk Hogan, right, and said, "Hey, we got this thing. We need somebody to endorse it." The agent calls Foreman and calls Hogan, and George Foreman called back like 30 minutes before Hulk Hogan called back, and so they gave it to him. Yeah. And so Hulk Hogan kind of ended up pissed on the show because Leno was sort of rubbing it in his face and making some great jokes about it, and Hulk Hogan was not having any of that. But afterward, I told my wife, I said, I said, in the old days, I said, I know where the studio gate is where they come and go. And I actually saw Susan Sarandon come out of there after she was on the show when she was Susan Sarandon. She was in. This was like in the late 70s, so this is like Rocky Horror Picture Days almost. And she came out. She was with Robbins, by the way, who was driving the car, and blew me a kiss. I'll never forget that. So I told my wife, I said, I think I know.
10?
No, she was still. Yeah, she was older than me.
No, him.
Oh, him. Yeah, he was
like
young.
30.
He was young. So was she though. But anyway. So I said, I think I know where the thing is, where they'll come out. Let's walk around. So we walk around. Sure enough, the studio gates walk up here, pulls out his limo. He rolled down the window. I popped my head in there. I talked to him about when him and his wife were first being shot like in trailers in the old days. And they laugh and joke. And he wrote an autograph for my daughter or something like that. And my wife just stood back, took a picture of it. And then he drives off. And these guys come up afterward and they said, you have to sign these release forms. I said, for what? They said, well, we were shooting all that for his show. He had Hogan Knows Best or whatever. He had that show. Nice. Said, we're shooting it for that show. So if we put it on the show, you have to sign the release. I don't know if it ever made the show or not, but
that's awesome.
Yeah, but the day I learned Hulk Hogan got turned down for the George Foreman grill.
That's a bad hit. Can you imagine?
So when I was in the service, I mean, I saw Hogan before he even made it to like.
What was he doing after?
Really? Yeah, I know. That's
he made
a movie.
His whole thing made it from Rocky, man. When he was the whole thing. What was he? Thunderlips.
Oh, he's huge. Yeah.
Thunderlips.
Huge. Humongous. When he had like the yellow.
Yeah.
He'd be ripping the shirts off, the Hulkamania one.
No, that was 90s.
My wife.
No,
what was funny is when he rolled down the window, that my wife leaves in the car, says, "You remember me? I was the one in the pajamas watching you on TV."
Yeah, I was never a big wrestling guy.
Me either. I was a big roller derby fan, though. Because I grew up in the '60s, and roller derby was still a thing, like in the bigger,
So mine was Chief J Strongbow. Here was this guy. He was an Indian. He got the shit kicked out of him, and then after he got like the worst beat out of him, all of a sudden he starts doing that little twitch, and you knew he was going to get up and kick the shit out of the guy. To me, that was, I don't care. I know it was fixed, but that was fucking entertainment.
Yeah.
You know, he let them kick the shit out of him, and then he was going to kick the shit out of them.
Well, I mean, the thing about like wrestling, I think is like, yeah, it's corny and all, and it's for children, and I get that.
It's fucking
I get that men like it and like to watch it.
Yeah.
The actual physicality of what they're doing is very impressive.
It is
Well, now it is. It's so much.
Have you ever seen those like world's dumbest though? Where, where like amateurs trying to do that shit, breaking chairs over each other's backs and falling off crowds and stuff like. What do you guys?
Some of them have died. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this
I'd still rather go to the monster truck rally than wrestling. I really would.
Yeah.
It's the same people. They're all. If you don't get to either one of them, just have to go to a Trump rally.
I went to one.
Yeah. Oh boy.
It's all the same.
Don't you guys? So let me tell you something. This is all I want to say about this whole thing. I am hoping that this is all the Mandela effect. That I'm just gonna wake up one day and go, "Hey, remember when Trump was president?" They go, "Fucking never fucking happened, bro." Like, no, you remember? He ran. We all thought it was a joke. Then he actually won.
We thought it was gonna be no different.
No, you guys know what the Mandela effect is, right?
It's gonna be no different than Bush Jr.
You know what the Mandela effect is?
That's all it's gonna be. Hopefully.
Herb, you know what the Mandela effect is?
Much worse.
Where the Mandela effect is where people mistakenly think that something happened that didn't happen, and it comes from the fact that people think that Mandela died in the 90s.
No, Mandela. Yeah, no. I always knew that Mandela was freed because I heard a joke. It was when he just got freed.
I'm looking at you.
And I was on a train going to Philadelphia, and I was like 16, and a black kid in the food cart, he got his food, and he was like, "I'm out like Mandela," and he walked away. And I read in the paper that Mandela had, gotten out. So yeah, that Mandela effect. No, he got out.
The Mandela effect is that they think he died. But the Mandela effect is that they think he died and he didn't. I'll show you.
He didn't.
He didn't.
Yeah.
But a lot of people think that he did.
But the Mandela effect is having a false memory of a fact that never happened. Right. That's why I hope that Trump getting elected will turn out to just be the Mandela effect. We'll wake up one morning and go, "Remember?" And go, "Nope."
It's not going to happen.
Just proves how stupid America is.
Okay. Blah, 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 blah.
Uneducated.
He's riled people up to
uneducated.
See the shit Bernie got into the other day about he's saying cities will burn. He's talking about he was praising gulags. They were saying, and
why is he running?
He's too old.
Does he have? Where does he come up with the money to
his
fucking still run?
Fucking touching kids and being creepy, like
all of them. There's so many of them that are so fucking old running. It's like Biden. Come on, have you not seen how aged you get when you're in the presidential? Biden was like 20 when he came out. He was like 50 when he came out.
Oh yeah, he was part of writing some really fucked up drug laws that lock people up in prison, like a lot of shit on like crime.
Who, Biden?
Yeah, at one of the debates a while back, they asked him about it. Like, well, if I had, I would change that now. Like, fucking, yeah, but you did it. You fucking did it.
Yeah, you did it. Yeah, you did it.
And your eyeball just blew up again, like, you weirdo. You see that when his eyeball exploded on him?
What?
Yeah, Joe Biden was on TV and just his eyeball filled with blood. He blew up an eyeball on TV. Look it up. Biden's eyeball.
Biden's eyeball.
Yeah, and if that ain't a fucking, you're gonna tell me he ain't wearing a diaper? Stop.
He's not wearing a diaper.
Guy's over the hills.
He's not even a human.
His eyeball blew up. I know. He's
a fucking robot. It's self-destructive.
Yeah, maybe.
Creepy old
He's asking the wrong question.
He's like
I am not a
Jimmy Carter era dude. He's like
not equipped for that.
He's old. He's been
he was old when he was a fucking vice president.
His body's too old.
You guys see that Trump retweeted pictures of that retweeted a picture of Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and like fucking burkas and stuff.
Yeah.
Flag behind it. Trump himself tweeted this shit. Now, okay, now
he's a fucking child.
He was laughing.
He's a fucking classroom bully. That's who Trump is.
Now I don't remember Gerald Ford doing anything like that.
No, because he was too stupid.
He was too stupid. It's the first time I can remember it. And the other thing is, So he called.
Yeah, Kennedy would have done something like that if he lived.
I don't know.
Done something like what?
Like tweeted something funny.
Funny with somebody like the opposition.
Yeah,
Speaking
that's
of
just,
Kennedy
it's just
and the
different now.
Mandela effect, did you guys ever see that 11/23/60 or 11/24/63? Is that what it's called? It's the Stephen King novel that they made into a show on Hulu, and it has James Franco,
Right.
and it's a
He
story
was
about this
alive?
guy. Yeah, James Franco, the young James Franco. And
Yeah.
no, in this,
Like,
it's a
was he
period.
alive
It's a
then?
period show.
Oh.
And I'll tell you what happens. This guy has a diner, and in the back room of the diner, when you go into the back of it, you exit, and it takes you into 1963. And it always goes to the same place in time every time you go back.
Yeah.
Right. And he theorizes over time that he's back like 10 months before Kennedy is assassinated. And he starts fantasizing that if he could stop the assassination of Kennedy, that the world would be different.
Yeah.
So he actually convinces James Franco to go back in time, assume an identity back there, and plan to stop the killings. It's a really, what's crazy is that whenever they get close to changing anything about time fights back.
Of course.
So like crazy, creepy shit happens and
That
stuff.
makes sense. That sounds very Stephen.
Yeah, it's very Stephen King-esque.
He's a psychopath. He's like.
I read the
No, he says he has the
Polar.
heart of a small boy. He keeps it on a jar on his desk.
Yeah.
A jar on his desk.
That's creepy. Fire.
Yeah, but he could write about anything.
Yeah.
But we can't tell a fucking joke on stage. Come on, really?
I know when you
Where?
think of some of the really repugnant imagery. And,
I read the
and,
book
like,
Thinner.
the
I
movie,
lost
ooh.
15 fucking pounds. Okay.
Do you know? Do you know that his son is a director, and his son is a like often a unit director on Stephen King films or things that are made into Stephen King films. One of which was a buddy of mine did Stephen King story about what is the story about the apocalypse and the two groups that rise up after it and that. And it was a mini series for a while.
Stand?
Yeah, The Stand.
Yeah.
So he was the first guy to die in The Stand, my friend was. And that unit was directed by Stephen King's son, whose name is, you ready? Joe King.
Okay.
Yeah. So
As like she's Catholic like me, and I imagine you're from Christian-y crazy worlds out there. Did shit like The
It's a true
Exorcist? Did shit like The
Christianity.
Exorcist scare you when you were a kid? Because that's horrifying.
fuck yes, I was fucking
Horrified
14
that.
years old. What do you think? I was
I saw it much
14.
younger than that. I saw it younger.
Yeah,
That
you
movie
saw it
bought you?
younger, but you know why I didn't see it
No,
younger, you moron? Because it
I
came
was
out
already
when I was
pretty much
14.
Persecuted from the church by that age.
I know, but still,
Yeah.
just that like demonic image.
So
I was around
So
for
my
the
mom
original
grew up
frenzy
in
of the terror
the
of that.
Catholic Church. She grew up in a Catholic orphanage. She was beat by nuns, and she still sent me to fucking Catholic school and the church. And you had to always. I mean, I saw shit. Like I said, the joke I say about my priest saying I was a sexual deviant. It's fucking true. Humor's funniest when it's straight. I told my priest I was a sexual deviant, and he said, "Go say 6 Our Fathers, 3 Hail Marys, and 2 extra."
And then come and see me in 2 hours.
No, but that does explain why he molested me.
Yeah. You think it would have made a difference?
No, because he taught me how to box later in life.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
He was a fighter. He had the hairiest fucking knuckles I ever saw in a fucking human. He had like gorilla hands, big paws with fucking fur.
Did you guys see where the Pope is easing off about celibacy? And the Pope before him complained and said,
What? It ain't working?
no,
Well,
the
first
Pope
of all,
wants to make the celibacy,
thinks-
so wants to ease
Read the
celibacy
fucking Bible.
first.
They had family.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
Yeah, people get together and.
How
But
about
the
even
last Pope,
how about
I don't know
even
what you call him,
have
the
children.
ex-Pope,
the problem is
Family.
he
Yeah.
says nope.
but they've shut so much off. There's so many gospels. There's a gospel from Mary.
Oh, yeah,
Mary
that's great
Magdalene.
gospel. She
Mary
has
Magdalene.
one of the best ones.
Yes, exactly.
In
I
about
mean,
480 AD,
She was married. They were married
what was
together,
the Catholic
please.
Church at that time
Yeah.
discovered the Gnostic Gospels, and
I
they
was
got
just gonna
together
talk
and they
about
said,
those, yeah.
these are the books that we're going to put in the Bible. These other ones we're not going to put in. So like the Gospels of Timothy and a whole bunch of other Gospels never made it into Bible.
Well, the
Oh,
Gnostic
tons of them.
thing was
Tons of
more.
Yeah, and nobody liked the Mary Magdalene that she was probably his wife. Nobody cared for that.
Well, no, because they don't want to know that. But you know, what about their child?
Yeah.
Yeah, or the
fucking-
child of the child of the
Yeah.
child of the child, which is
all,
that's the whole
all
Da
of
Vinci
us,
Code
right?
thing, right?
I've always been so like, the Bible is such complete utter bullshit. But the older I get, like, there could be some divinity in it, you know. Like I saw
Well,
this
it
thing.
doesn't have to be bullshit to have
Well,
divinity. in it.
actually,
I
look
mean,
at-
Well, there's
it
a
doesn't
lot
have
of
to have
bullshit in
divinity.
it.
Yeah,
There's a
but it
lot of
doesn't
bullshit
have
in
to
it. You
have
can't
divinity.
argue.
So
with
my-
it.
my
So much,
favorite is
like,
science.
Corinthians. I can
So okay,
fuck my neighbor's
talk
wife
about
if I kill
Noah.
my
You
neighbor.
said, "Oh, can't build a ship."
Right there.
Have you ever been on a fucking aircraft carrier?
What?
There were 5,500 people in that
Yeah.
fucking thing.
Yeah.
Okay, it was a floating city. Who the fuck says somebody couldn't have built that? I mean, he was 500 something years old. He was a pretty fucking smart dude, right?
Who?
Yeah.
Noah.
There's no fucking way one man built a wooden aircraft
No.
carrier.
He wasn't one man. He
Get
had
the
his
fuck outta
family.
here.
There's one
He
man
had-
in his family
He
building
had
one
his
aircraft
sons
carrier.
and shit. You know?
Fuck out of here. That thing was enormous. Have
So-
you ever seen the remake they made, Noah's
yeah,
Ark?
yeah.
But listen,
I wanna
but
go.
if you watch,
Oh,
I
but
wanna
if you
go.
watch the ancient
That-
alien
it's,
theories though about that,
what's
what
his
they
name?
say is that
The
he
little
possibly
guy.
that Noah possibly existed, and actually what he kept was maybe genetic samples of all the different species, and that rather than travel
He was
in
an extraterrestrial.
rather than travel in an ark, they believe it was maybe a tesseract. So
What the fuck is a tesseract?
a tesseract is a physics experiment where sort of time is folded within itself. So you have space within space within space within space within space. Like, have you ever seen Doctor
What a
Who?
way! What a way to think around it.
Listen, have you ever seen Doctor
Well,
Who?
you made the one person come in. She exited. She goes,
Easy.
I'm out of here
Listen,
on that
easy.
one.
Have you ever seen Doctor Who?
Yes,
Doctor
but I'm not
Who-
super familiar with it.
Okay, well when he
I'm
opens
not
up
gonna
when
lie
he
to you.
opens up when he opens up his phone booth that he's box that he travels in, it's actually has thousands of rooms in there. It's actually huge on the inside because it's a tesseract. It folds space within itself.
Well, actually, space is like paper. It's like stacks of paper, and they're all stacked on top of one another. So it's
Right.
I saw a thing where they took the principles of quantum mechanics and they put it against Genesis. First principle of quantum mechanics is light. You need light. Light is energy. This is energy. This works all light. Let there be light. The first words in the Bible, and then so on and so forth. I can't quote it, but it was very intriguing.
Of course.
It was very
Because
intriguing.
before the light is what
Like they
there
didn't
actually is
understand it in those
energy.
terms, but they did maybe. I don't
Because
know.
dark matter, there is no such thing as nothing. That's essentially quantum mechanics, baby.
I can't even comprehend nothing outside of, I don't know, you know, like, does it end? Does our universe end? A multiverse? You know, does it end? Is there an end? I mean, if it's the beginning, it's like, boom, it exploded and it's been, you know, it's been extracting. They say that's what it's been doing. It's going to
Yes,
come
but
back
they
again
think
and
that at the
explode
same
and
time,
extract.
they
Just
think that at the
evolve.
same time, they theorize at the same time that happened, another dimension was created that time runs backwards in. A parallel dimension to ours where time runs backwards. By our standards.
That might explain deja vu. You know what I mean? Where you have moments.
Who knows?
well, deja vu is because you.
And that's the thing with
Live your moments
UFOs,
before
right?
you
Are they
actually do.
interdimensional? Are they nuts and bolts? You know what I mean? Is
No.
it an actual fucking
How would they be
thing,
nuts
or
and
is
bolts?
it
They'd
a
fall
ethereal?
apart.
Not nuts and bolts, but
What?
you know what I mean? A material item.
Well,
that
it is a
comes through,
material.
as
It's not
opposed
what
to
we
an
know about.
ethereal coming through in an, you know what I mean? Like in an ethereal form. Like
It's
this
what?
thing's in like the Dresden lights, like things that you think is a UFO, but they're just lights buzzing around in this. Cause like, what the fuck is that?
No,
It
there's some
happened at the
crazy
same place all the time. It'll be like,
Oh my god!
Okay, I'm gonna
I'm
put
doing
up
a
the
show with
anything
two
in the
fucking
sky like
stoners.
that?
Of course, when
Lots
I
of
was
them.
raised on the lake of Lake Michigan, and on the lake of Lake Michigan in the '60s, it was a very,
two,
very,
we got a
very
boss.
active UFO area, and I saw some really intriguing. Lots
Because
of
there's
different
not a
lights.
lot
But
of Air
one
Force
time,
bases around
yeah,
there.
one time there's a lot of us. Well, you had to see these things though, because what was cool is like there's this guy that does a show now that he compiles different kinds of material that's sent to him, video materials, and somebody over Lake Michigan, north of where we were, filmed the same exact phenomenon
What
that
did
I
it look
saw in
like? What did it
1977.
look like?
They were like five. They're like 5 white dots across the sky. Okay, and they move. They don't look large, but you can't exactly tell. And they move in like a formation where they're all latitude 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 next to each other. And then what would happen is one of them on the outside would flash up bright. And then on the very opposite end, the other one would flash up bright.
Right.
Then both of them would get bright together. And then they did this. They crossed the sky, arcing over each other and switching sides. Meanwhile, the 3 in the middle are
so
just
creepy
sitting
when
there.
you think about it. Well, like, what the fuck are they doing?
There's all
There
kinds
was a
of
bunch
shit
of
that was
fucking
happening.
hippies with drones laying goddamn.
No,
Not in
not back then.
1977. It wasn't.
Yes, it was. They were ahead of their time.
When I was a kid,
They were-
I saw
they were
something
sitting
in the
there.
sky.
Sounds
I
like
can
we
believe
got
that.
a denier.
I saw something bright in the sky in like '82. I know summer
If there
of
was an
82,
intelligent
and it
life
was
force,
just
why the
it was
fuck haven't
far
they
away. It
been
was
here?
bright like a
They
They
star,
have been here.
and it was
All right,
whizzing.
then
And every other just like, and then it just was like gone,
I think
or it
it's
turned off.
common
I couldn't
denial.
tell if it shot off
Everybody
or
wants-
it turned off.
everybody
It
wants
was
an
like-
answer to the destruction of the world. Oh, the
It
aliens
was
will come and
beautiful.
save us.
But
We need to save our fucking selves.
They're not going to save us. They're going
might.
to exploit it. But the point
They're
is that
exploited. We're exploited.
in the same near my
we gotta
hometown
wrap
in the
up.
mid set over wrapping.
yeah,
Okay.
we got someone come waiting.
I don't have anything funny to say in the end.
I do.
Ah,
All right,
This
check out
brings me right
fucking
into my
Lizzie
my
McNeil.
anal stuff.
Where can they see the?
Okay, I'm doing Mutiny Radio Comedy Festival in San Francisco, March, first week of March. I'll be hosting at the Greenwich Village Comedy Club throughout the year in 2020, starting also in March, the end of March, March 28th. And check out Cambridge Comedy Underground on YouTube and Facebook.
Cool. Missy?
Sunday fun day every Sunday. It's a fucking fun day. And then the next big show is Valentine's Day. It's gonna be fuck
Oh, that's a good
Valentine's.
time to get freaky over
Fabulous
there.
Underground Comedy Kids. Do
Nice, nice.
Valentine's.
I'm Tommy O'Deed. We're done. Till next time.
We
peace.
out.